So this is it. Manchester City are heading into the 2022-2023 season. Honestly, football comes around so quickly these days, but we are Premier League champions 2 times in a row. Can we make it 3 times in a row? Today, I'm going to run through absolutely everything. Get yourself a brew, man. I've just necked mine like an idiot when I was prepping this video. Get yourself a brew, put on your comfies, get somewhere cozy, and get prepared to talk or listen to Manchester City chat for like ages. No idea. I'm just starting recording this video. Maybe it's going to be 5 minutes long. It's not. It's going to be at least half an hour, I guarantee you. So get ready to talk about Manchester City. We're going to go through everything today. We're going to go through, as you can see at the bottom, my concerns, why I'm feeling positive, the transfers in and out, the squad depth. We'll try and predict the league, go through our rivals and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a very thorough look at Manchester City's 2022-23 season. Obviously, I haven't got a crystal ball. I'm no genius, so I have no idea how this is going to work come the end of the season. But it's fun. It's absolutely fun. And I think it's going to be, hopefully, a very interesting video. I've tried to leave no stone unturned. So don't forget, if you are finding this kind of content and you like this kind of video, please do me a massive favour. Let's get to at least 1,500 likes in this video. Can we do that? And please do hit the subscribe button. I'm closing down on 63,000. I need 57 more as I'm recording this. So hit the subscribe button. And also, I'm dead excited because I'm working alongside Super 6. Yep, I'm sponsored for this video by Super 6. I'm absolutely buzzing, man. Like, if you don't know what Super 6 is, it's basically an app where all you got to do is guess 6 scores. Literally just 6 scores. That easy. And if you get it right, you'll win £1 million. You could literally just buy me. You could buy this YouTube channel. You could do what you want. And the best thing about it is your knowledge is key. If you think you got ball knowledge, basically, all you got to do is enter Super 6. Click the link in the description. And I've got my own league as well. Esteemed Kompany has his own league. I've got a Super 6 league. How mental is that? I'm dead excited. And the deadline is Saturday at 3 p.m. for you to join. And if you're not doing that already this second, what are you doing? Best thing about it, if you don't win as well, I'm going to give a City shirt away. It could be the home shirt, it could be the away shirt, it could be the third kit, to one lucky winner who beats my scores in this league. So here are my predictions on screen right now. I've gone for Spurs to beat Southampton 2-0. I think they're going to start well. I've gone for 1-1 for Leeds versus Wolves. I think there'll be a draw there. Newcastle Forest. I'm looking at my phone right this second as I do this. I'm going for 2-2 there. It's going to be an entertaining game. I think Forest have their energy coming up. Everton, I've gone for a surprise. They're going to beat Chelsea. Based on absolutely nothing, I've gone for Everton to actually surprise and upset Chelsea. I thought about that an awful lot, but I've got a feeling it could happen. You know, Lampard getting one over his own club. Chelsea have had a terrible. I've gone to 2-1 actually. I've gone for Chelsea to lose 2-1 to Everton. I think I was thinking about it there a little bit. So 2-1. United Brighton. Oh. Look, I want to go for a Brighton win, but I'm seeing United winning 2-1. And for City West Ham, I'm going for 3-1, which is the Nicola favourite score, of course. So that's what I've gone for. Once again, all you got to do is get 6 scores right and you could be literally a millionaire. How mental is that? Click the link in the description. Go and enter and join my league. And don't forget, even if you just don't win this, but you beat me, beat my score, I'll give a City shirt away. I've also got my golden goal in there as well. I went for 6 minutes, I think. So do it. What are you waiting for, man? Do it right now. You could win this shirt, the home shirt, which is over there as well, which I'll probably put on midway through the video. I'll do an outfit change. Enter Super 6 is awesome. You're awesome. You got to be over 18 to play as well. Don't forget, over 18 to play, but it's very exciting. Go for it and good luck. So the best place to start, I guess, will be with the transfers in. And as you can see on screen now, these are the transfers that we made this summer. Erling Haaland for 54 million. These are off transfermarket.com, by the way, for the actual fees. Erling Haaland 54, Alvarez for 15, Stefan Ortega on a free transfer, Calvin Phillips for around 43 million. And I put a little question mark at the bottom. Will we sign a left back? That little question there feels really important to judge the transfers in because those other ones, they're excellent. I really like him. Haaland is one of the most exciting young players in literally world football. He could be a superstar of Ronaldo, Messi levels. He could be that, man. He's honestly up there alongside Mbappe. We probably got 2 of the most exciting young footballers in world football now in Haaland and Foden in the team. Haaland's a beast, a wonderful player. He's going to score a ton of goals at Manchester City. A superstar signing. Genuinely a marquee, wonderful player. Alvarez as well. Excellent. We saw his ability in pre-season and in the Community Shield. Unfortunate defeat there, but we saw Alvarez get his first goal. We saw his liveliness, his sprightfulness. Comes highly rated as one of the most exciting young players in South American football. a superstar in the making, and once again for a bargain fee, a huge addition to this squad in terms of versatility, replacing 𝐙esus to an extent. Haaland potentially replacing Sterling's goal output, I reckon, or something like that. Ortega is an interesting one. Stefan Ortega, he comes really highly rated. Of course, I did do a big video talking about Ortega versus Ederson. Go and watch that if you haven't already. It's wonderful stuff, if I don't say so myself. I've got a goalkeeping expert to analyse Ortega, and he came up smelling of roses, man. This guy is good, and he could help challenge Ederson this season. An astute bit of business to replace Zach Steffen, who's gone out. And Calvin Phillips is coming as well as the Fernandinho replacement. A really intelligent footballer. I'm expecting Calvin Phillips to just absolutely settle in and really suit Manchester City style down to a T. He was built for this football, and as he was saying, this is basically the only team that he would leave Leeds for, because he said that to Gareth Southgate apparently, because he just gets it. Pep Guardiola's football, the way he plays, it's just perfect. And the left back feels like the thing that will essentially shape this transfer window, doesn't it? If we get a left back in of quality, then it's been an excellent window in terms of refreshing the squad, in terms of bringing in quality, in my personal opinion. But it's a big if. It's mad because you can go from an 8 or a 9 out of 10 to potentially down to a 5, if we don't replace that left back, because we left ourselves very, very short there potentially. But it's interesting. Those signings, though, overall, I'm happy with them. They are good signings. We just need a little bit more, considering the outgoings, where Sterling has gone for 51 million. I'm disappointed by Sterling leaving. He's the one I didn't want to leave, really, in terms of the variety he would offer out wide with pace and energy and goals. And I think you would have found a new lease of life with Haaland up front as well, back on the right. He would have been excellent. 𝐙esus, I understand why he went. I think we've replaced him well with Haaland and Alvarez as finally signing strikers. But 𝐙esus, I think he's going to do really well for Arsenal. I think he needed that. The fees are good, by the way. 50 million each, basically for Sterling, 𝐙esus, with 1 year left on their contracts. They're good fees. They are good fees. They're some of the highest fees we've received in teams have received for a guy with 1 year left on his contract, so I can't complain too much. Though I think Chelsea and Arsenal will be happy with that, and Arsenal will be happy with Zinchenko as well for 31 million. That one really hurt for me. Like Zinchenko going, mainly it hurts because we haven't replaced it yet. Like it feels like we've shot ourselves in the foot a little bit there. If we replace him, fair enough, but Zinchenko, I love the guy. Fernandinho as well, obviously left on a free transfer, which is understandable. He wasn't the best anymore, if we're being honest. I love the guy, but his legs had gone a tiny bit. An absolute legend. But, Phillips coming in is more than adequate. Zach Steffen as well, of course, got out on loan. He wasn't City's level. Ortega looks a better keeper already, if I'm being honest. So that's fair. And then various youth players as well. I've just put there because I couldn't be arsed writing them all down. 𝐌𝐞𝐫𝐻 today on loan, Sheffield United. Tommy Doyle there as well. We sold Romeo Lavia to Southampton, which is a shame, but the buyback clause is there. Bazunu has gone to Southampton as well, but once again, the buyback clause is there, which is excellent stuff. CJ Egan-Riley has gone obviously to Burnley under Vinny, which will be interesting to see. Howard Bellis on loan at Burnley as well, and a few more. There are rumours that 𝙏𝙬𝙨 could go to Leverkusen, but that hasn't happened yet, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, the outgoings, some of them are painful, but I don't mind them all as long as we get that left back in, because I think a big refresh can be useful. We've got good money in terms of the actual outgoings, in terms of the sales and the fees. We've done really well. Like, obviously, I've not put every single player out there, and I've not put every CFG sale, the likes of Pedro Porro has been sold as well. But in terms of the actual net spend, it's been really good. I don't care about net spend because I feel like that's the kind of stuff that clubs who are selling clubs think about. But I can't deny the business in terms of outgoings has been really, really useful. So the signings in are good. We need one more. The players out, I understand them going, but maybe it's one too many. It depends, doesn't it? It depends how this goes, really. So they're the transfers. Now let's bring up that squad depth. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, there are questions straight away. I mean, the forward line is great to see Haaland there. Haaland and Alvarez, it's great. We got two strikers finally. I put the lap there because as the current play, as things stand currently, he's still there. There are rumours about him going to Stoke, but he is still here. So ultimately, our striker depth is looking pretty good. On the left-hand side as well, Foden will go out wide. I think he'll be playing as a winger again this season. That makes an awful lot of sense. In Grealish, that's good cover there. I like it, Mahrez obviously is a top quality winger, world-class winger on his day, and it's fine. I like that. Palmer, I really like Palmer as well. I think he's going to have a better season than people give him credit for, but people are right to say he's only a kid. And he is exactly the same kind of player as Mahrez. He's more likely to go on the outside because he's got a bit more of acceleration, but he is the same kind of player. So maybe we are lacking a little bit of variety out there. Has Grealish ever played on the right? Get him on the right foot with him crossing? That's not going to happen, but you never know. But we are maybe lacking a bit of variety on the wing. it looks a little bit light behind them. Bernardo, Gundogan, De Bruyne. We've got 3 players there for 2 roles potentially. Though, who knows, maybe we'll play as a double pivot a little bit more. Maybe we won't see the false 8s. Maybe we'll see Bernardo and De Bruyne or Gundogan. Maybe there'll be more as a classic number 10. I think we're looking at this in the idea of, a double pivot, potentially. But, as a false 8s, but it could be a double pivot. And it could be that, De Bruyne, Bernardo is all we need as the number 10 there, or maybe Gundogan there potentially. It's why I would like to 𝐌𝐞𝐫𝐻𝐡 just keep around, because I think he could have been really useful. Who knows, maybe Palmer gets pushed into midfield if we need him there, and maybe Oscar Bob or 𝐿𝐴𝐾𝐫𝐻𝐡 comes in on the right. I haven't put 𝐿𝐴𝐾𝐫𝐻𝐡 on there actually. I'll add into it right now, and likewise Oscar Bob. I didn't do that like an idiot, but they're on there right now. But I think I didn't put them on because I didn't trust this lack of senior players there. It's potentially light though. It's potentially light as a number 8, but maybe not. The defensive midfield slot was great. Rodri, Phillips, that's really, really good. That's a wonderful pairing. No complaints whatsoever. The centre-backs are excellent. Laporte, Diaz, Ake, Stones, and Bete as the backup. Really good. Ederson, once again, with Ortega and Carson behind him. I'm really happy with that. The full-backs is interesting. Currently, as it stands, it's Cancelo and Walker, backed up by Wilson Esbrand and Rico Lewis, who's 17 years old. It's too raw for me, that. I don't want to push Stones. Look, if you push Stones and Ake out there, then you've got no one else in defence as a backup. It's too much. I have put a new left back question mark. I do think we probably will sign one. Who it is, I don't know. Sousa would be fine. Gomez to me would be fine. Better than nothing. And I would like the idea of Wilson Esbrand getting a chance, but he is very young. And Lewis is very young too, so I want to see, we're going to give these lads a chance. I also want to see them giving the chance in the optimal scenario, because the depth isn't perfect. It's not terrible, but it isn't perfect. Let's see, if we can flesh the squad out a tiny bit more. Maybe 1 or 2 more players would be excellent, and we could do that. If we sign Sousa, great backup left back, and I also would sign Sergio Gomez, and I wouldn't loan him out. I'd keep him in the squad because he can play on the right. He can play as a winger, left back. He's a really useful player. He's got a history of playing in multiple positions, and Vinny knows a thing or two about him too. Obviously managed him at Anderlecht. I would keep him in as a player who's used to first team football and has potential to learn. I would do that personally. But that's the squad depth. Let's go on to the concerns. I always like to get the concerns out the way before we talk about the positives. The concerns are always easy to pick up because the positives usually are quite simple. But the concerns are always easy to pick up. Obviously, as always in Manchester City, the first place we'll start is the lack of a pre-season. We play 2 games, then we play the Community Shield, and we rarely look match fit at the start of the season. And of course, West Ham is a hell of a place to go, when you're looking at... I'm looking at our fixtures now. We've got West Ham. I've got it on my calendar up there. We've got Bournemouth... then we've got, who else have we got? It's Newcastle and then Palace. Look, it's not the world, and then Forest as well. It's not the world's hardest start, but that short pre-season could catch us out a little bit, and we've got to consider that, unfortunately. It's what Guardiola likes, though. Guardiola likes it, and fair enough, he likes a bit of time in the training ground, and so be it, man, so be it. Also, as well, we maybe lack a bit of Premier League experience. The thing is, when you get rid of Sterling, Jesus, Zinchenko, Fernandinho, Stefan, that is literally like 25% of our squad that have Premier League experience. And we brought in literally 3 or 4 players, presuming we get a left back, that'll be 4 potentially, unless it's from the Premier League, maybe not. We brought in a few players that have no Premier League experience. Some of them, are very young. That could cost us. We've lost Premier League winners. Sterling, Jesus, Zinchenko, Fernandinho. These have won the Premier League, That is a lot to replace. It is necessary sometimes. You do have to do it, but we can't deny that could be a bit of a pain, come the business end of the season when we're looking at these young players or these new signings and we're leaning on them a little bit. And there's also that reasonably thin squad depth that we just discussed about as well in the squad depth section. I mean, there is a fair point to be made there. I mean, it isn't the thickest squad. I mean, I think Chelsea, Liverpool, other teams, they definitely... Maybe not Spurs or Arsenal, maybe not United, but they've definitely got more senior players than Manchester City have got, and that could cost us because we know we do get injuries. We know that does happen to Manchester City. We've seen it a billion times, and it could cost us come the winter months. It's all right saying move him to left back if he gets injured, or put him through the middle if he gets out, but you need those players in other positions because we will get suspensions, we will get injuries, and we have got a lot of games coming up. It can be a bit of a potential problem. It could be all right, but it happens every year when we have 13, 14 players. So it is a relatively thin squad. And that leads into the next point. We've lost a lot of youth players that we sort of trust, I would feel a lot more comfortable if 𝐌𝐞𝐫𝐜𝐡 was still there, if 𝙏𝙬𝙨 was still there, if �10�10 was still around, if 𝐿𝐼𝐸𝐴𝐸 was still there. These are players that have been around the first team and played a few games that we can sort of trust, to come in and do a decent job. But we've lost a lot of them. So we've lost a lot of very talented young players. And it could be a lot to ask of the next generation to come through, if we need them. If we get loads of midfielder injuries, who do we go for, man? Look, 𝙏𝙬𝙨's not there anymore. 𝐌𝐞𝐫𝐴𝐡's not there. We've got some talented young players, in the under-18s, but it's gonna be a lot for them. Oscar Bob's still around potentially, but he's not got much first team experience. �W𝐞𝐫𝐜𝐡 as well, but once again, not a lot of first team experience. And 𝙏𝙬𝙨, a decent one around still, but it could be a bit too much. And also, I think it's fair to say, will the new signings gel? As we were talking, we lost a lot of Premier League experience, and it's a lot to lean on. The likes of Haaland, Alvarez, Phillips, Ortega. Look, they have to learn a little bit how we play. And likewise, if a left back comes in, they've got to learn a bit. It could be that Haaland, and I don't think it's going to happen, but there's always a small chance that Haaland could take a while to adapt and doesn't get the goals. Alvarez could be overawed by the pace of the Premier League, and all of a sudden, Sterling and Jesus aren't. They won't be ever, because they understand this league like the back of their hand, So it could be a little bit too much, and it is something to consider. And we also have to adapt to Haaland. There's no guarantee, unfortunately, that we will. It could be that the way that we played, we could lose a little bit of control. These are all concerns. I'm not saying they're going to happen, but they are points to consider. We could lose a bit of control played to Haaland. Haaland could take a while to adapt to the movement of the likes of De Bruyne and so on. We might not find his runs. He might struggle to adapt to a lack of spacing behind that you get in the Bundesliga. There's no guarantee. I'm very confident we will be fine, but there's no guarantee. Grealish has to step up. Can he do it to the level that we require? I thought he was fine last season, but fine isn't enough. He does have to be better than that. Once again, I feel like second season could help him, but he does have to step up. And can he do it? That's the thing. We are going to lose some goals from Sterling and so on, and he has to start contributing in that way. And we haven't seen that yet. Fingers crossed we will. The main one, of course, are those fullback concerns. We can't ignore the fact that we are missing, currently as it stands, a fullback. We need to bring in a senior fullback. Sousa's been linked, Sergio Gomez. Get them both in my opinion. It'll be really, really useful. We need it. We simply need it, because if Cancelo gets injured, we put Ake out there. Laporte's currently out. So we've got Stones and Diaz as centre-back options, and then we're leaning on 𝐵ete potentially, or Wilson Esbrand. They're kids. As good as it is, do I trust him to play against Liverpool? I don't yet. I'm sorry, lads. So we need one. We also probably potentially lack a bit of variety and pace out wide now. All we've got essentially is inverted wingers. Grealish cuts in. Mahrez cuts in. Okay, Foden goes on the left if he plays out there. But I do wish we'd found a way to keep Sterling or replaced him with a fast, attacking, direct winger, because we're probably a little bit one-dimensional going forward. It doesn't mean, Palmer cuts in as well, of course, but it doesn't mean that we can't be successful. But it is a fair concern to say Sterling's pace and his explosiveness and the chaos that he brings could have been dead useful. The fragmented season won't help. The World Cup coming in at the middle of the season could be a mess. We could have so many players at that tournament, they could come back absolutely knackered. Of course, it's the same for Liverpool and Chelsea and so on, but it isn't ideal, and it is something we've got to consider. It could be too much. It could also be too much to ask the players, as I said, for 3 in a row. Is it just too hard to do? 3 Premier League titles? Is the pressure too much? Are Liverpool too motivated? Could it be too much to ask for? Well, it's something we have to consider. And finally, Pep's contract, man. That is a concern for me, because he hasn't signed it yet, and that could hover over the season and really it could shape how we see this season, couldn't it? If Pep decides he's going to leave in January, that could change the motivation of players. If he doesn't sign until late on, that could change the motivation of players. It is something that's going to hang over every press conference until we know what he's doing. That isn't ideal. But anyway, enough of the negatives. Let's go on to the positives. So for the positives, I thought I'd do a bit of an outfit change. Don't forget, you can win this or the away kit in the Super 6 thing if you beat me in the league. Don't forget to do it. Click the link in the description. But the positives, let's be positive. Let's be positive for once, It's so easy to get bogged down in the negatives, and maybe that's just a symptom of being as good as Manchester City are. When you're that good, you got to find something to moan about, and we do love a moan, let's be honest, as football fans. And as City fans, it's part of our DNA, innit? It really is who we are. I'm going to start with the most obvious place. we fucking signed Erling Haaland. We've signed one of the greatest young strikers in world football, a guy with a goal-a-game record at every single level that he's ever played for, the 𝐌𝐞𝐫𝐻𝐡, an absolute freak of a player, an absolute monster who I've got no doubt is going to score an absolute ton of goals for Manchester City and kill off those games where we're struggling to beat a side, be it 0-0 or 1-0, we're worried about the equaliser or whatever. He's going to help us turn those games where it's 1-0 into 2-0 or 3-0 very, very quickly, in my personal opinion. And he could be, once he's adapted at Manchester City, the difference between City losing that tie against Real Madrid and winning it as we kill it off quicker. Erling Haaland is an absolute superstar, a wonderful signing, a Manchester City fan as well, young, willing, a monster. I cannot wait to see him in Manchester City shirt. What more can you ask for? We have solved, in my opinion, that striker question. And I can't wait. And he's also the figurehead of the next point of the new refresh. We've had an absolute huge refresh. Now, of course, for all the reasons we talked about, it isn't quite complete yet unless we get a fullback. But we can't deny that we've absolutely replaced some of the players in the squad, and hopefully in a very positive way. Ortega is an upgrade on Stefan, in my personal opinion. Phillips is an upgrade on old Fernandinho. You know, Alvarez could be an upgrade, or at least as good as Jesus. Definitely going to be different. Haaland is an upgrade on nothing, basically. We have absolutely upgraded the squad in terms of, well, we've refreshed the squad anyway. People are going to argue forever about the quality, and I guess that's going to be something in hindsight, but every now and then you do need a refresh. You do need new players, because new players bring new ideas, and new ideas bring new motivations, and they bring an energy to a squad. Like, Phillips is going to challenge Rodri in a different way. Haaland will challenge KDB and Foden to find him and so on, and it's exciting. It also motivates Pep. So let's be honest. Pep needs that refresh for his own ego, his own energy, his own ideas. Like, it's good for everyone to have new faces around the dressing room, because it shows that you can't rest on your laurels, man. And it shows that there will be people gunning for you. And that, to me, is good, because the squad can go stagnant, especially after a long period of success. It becomes very easy to get very complacent. And sometimes it can be painful, but you've got to rip off that Band-Aid and move on. And this is what Manchester City have done here. The third thing for me is absolutely huge. Going into the season, we've got a fit and firing Kevin De Bruyne. I know he wasn't great in the Community Shield, but he's Kevin De Bruyne. He's like that every now and then. But there's no doubt that he's fit and he's fresher than he has been in an awful long time going into a new season. And you cannot ignore the impact that's going to have. I think he's going to do wonderful things this season, Kevin De Bruyne. He's found a new kind of like goal hunger to his game recently, scoring some wonderful goals last season. And of course, in pre-season too, especially against, was it Club America? It was, yeah. Was he buying? You know what? I've just forgotten. It was Club, you know what I'm on about anyway. He was wonderful there. It was Club America. Yeah. And I feel like he's going to carry on to the season as well, scoring goals, creating goals. And I think he's going to get a relatively free role this season ahead of two more defensive midfielders, basically. Defensive-minded midfielders. I think Bernardo will be a little bit deeper than usual, allowing KDB essentially just to find space and run at defences and so on. He's going to be absolutely momentous. And I can see a Premier League Player of the Year trophy incoming for this wonderful superstar of ours. Ortega will push Ederson on another level than Stefan ever could do. That, to me, is a massive positive. Guardiola's been talking about how impressed he's been with Stefan Ortega and the quality that he brings, and I do think that's something that we can't really underplay there. He has a bit of an X factor as a goalkeeper. He's really underrated, and I do think he's a better passer than we realise as well. He's not Ederson level, but I do think he'll improve at Ederson. And I think it was really obvious, actually. Ederson had a good game, in my opinion, against Liverpool. He made some good saves, and I think he's going to have to be alert and on his feet, because this guy could take his place if he drops his standards. Not his best season last season, Ederson. Still fine, but not his best season. And I think it's fair that people ask some questions about him, though I do suspect we'll see him return to the form, and simply because Ortega's going to challenge him. Also, Phillips. That brings us options, it brings us experience, it brings us a chance to rest Rodri every now and then. Phillips will, once again, challenge Rodri. He's better than Fernandinho was last season. He got a lot older. Phillips knows how to play in this system. And I do think every now and then he'll give us a sturdier base potentially. If you want to play double pivot with Phillips and Rodri, that's going to be really useful if you want to sit back and keep the ball and be a little bit stronger and let KDB just do his KDB thing. I like it. Phillips is a really intelligent signing who suits the profile of Manchester City perfectly, and who understands exactly how to play the system due to his Bielsa training, of course. Alvarez as well is a signing that's gone probably under the radar for many people. A potential superstar, potentially going to turn an awful lot of heads. He's intelligent, he works well, he can dribble, he can finish, he can pass. I would like a signing like Alvarez because he's low expectation, but we could see a star develop here at Manchester City, and I do think he's got that little bit of X factor about him as well. I can't wait to to see how he goes. That is a positive for me. A South American wonder kid. This guy is going to be a superstar. Grealish's second season as well. Look, we know the second season syndrome is a thing with Manchester City players. Once they learn the rhythm, once they learn how to be, once they learn that they belong at this level at Manchester City and they understand the system, it can see them become a different player entirely. Look, there's no guarantee it's going to happen with Grealish, of course, but I do trust that he'll find his confidence this season because now he belongs in this squad. And a lot of people are very critical of Grealish all the time, but I do think his second season will see an output increase. I think he'll get more goals, definitely get more assists with Haaland there to tap in the chances that was wasted last season for him. And I think it'll help. And I also think it'll help that now Foden is back in his usual roles. I cannot wait to see Phil Foden play once again facing the goal. Last season, he was often basically a sacrificial lamb for our lack of a striker. Likewise, Grealish at times, where we didn't really have a striker. But this season, Foden's going to be back where he's best, in my personal opinion right now. It's going to be in midfield or as a left winger. And I can't wait to see how he goes. How often did we see him do brilliant things 2 years ago in the Champions League when he was running at people, or even on the right? Might be somewhere we see him quite a lot this season, where he was great against Liverpool in the past, but he's going to be facing fullbacks again. He's going to be running at defenders, and it's the best of Phil Foden when he's facing the goal and being alive and sprightly. It was a relatively muted campaign last season, even though he won the Young Player of the Year. I still think he wasn't at his very, very best because he was taking one for the team, so to speak. But Foden back in his usual roles, that's exciting for me. It's very, very exciting. And once again, we did talk about in the concerns, lots of youth gone, but we still have lots of very talented young players. I'm really excited by the idea of seeing how Oscar Bob gets on if he hangs around. 𝐿𝐞𝐫𝐜𝐡, can he develop into a first team regular, a squad regular anyway? Joshua Wilson-Esbrand was excellent in pre-season. He's another one that Guardiola might decide to trust a little bit more. 𝐿𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐻𝐻, like a young Vincent Kompany clone. I really rate Luca. I think he's a fantastic young player. Then there's many more exciting young players as well coming in the under 18s. I really like a lad called Brecken. I think he's a really good footballer. 𝙬𝙬𝙞𝙩𝙬𝙚, Carlos Borges are really explosive young wingers that have got an awful lot of ability. Let's see how they get on. And I can't wait to see Rico Lewis as well, who was so impressive once again in pre-season, see how he gets on. It's going to be interesting to see how these youngsters adapt to life at Manchester City. And they're going to be training with the first team. And also, let's be honest, that Champions League fear is pretty much gone. Okay, I know we say that and we had a bit of a meltdown against Madrid, but that's Madrid, man. But overall, City were about to be in the second final in a row, apart from a freak thing that happened. Sometimes you knight your 320 someone, sometimes you get knight your 320. It happened. But I think we really don't have the Champions League fear anymore. I really do believe that. I think we know how to go far. Just knock the camera there by accident. I think we know how to go far. And we have the experience in this competition now that I can see us once again going really far in this competition. And finally, I said this last season, and I'm going to say it again. We're Manchester fucking City. We are Man City. We are proven Premier League winners. We have the best coach in world football. We have a bunch of incredibly talented players. And all those concerns, about the squad being thin. It was thin last year, and we still won the league, We were worried about having no striker last year, and we still won the league. And now we're a bit short of fullback. But last season, we were short of strikers, and we still won the league. Look, we're Man City. We've got a quality coach, quality players, a whole lot of experience. And we still know how to win the league. So that to me is something that we consider. We're not the only team who sits here and moans about a lack of options every now and then. We've all got our own concerns, but we're still Man City and we've got to remember that. But let's talk about our rivals. Now, Liverpool, of course, this could be the year for them. They could do it this year. I'm not an idiot. They could win the league this year. They brought in Darwin Núñez, who got off to a great start against us in the Community Shield. The big question is, though, is Darwin Núñez Sadio Mane? He isn't for me. Not right now. Maybe one day he will be, but Mane obviously is a big loss for them. But then again, so is Sterling and Jesus and Zinchenko for us. They've lost Mane, who's one of the most experienced forwards. Nico Williams is gone. Minamino's gone. They've made a bit of money there. But they have obviously bought in Fabio Carvalho, a little wonder kid, if I'm being honest, from Fulham. I really like him. He seems very exciting. They've got Calvin Ramsey, a young, I think he's a fullback, is he? I can't remember. Someone question me. I've heard good things about him, but I can't even remember. Either way, I'm a City fan, not a Liverpool fan, so it doesn't matter. But Liverpool, look, for me, if they start strongly, they started poorly last year, it could be that they win the league this year. They're a quality team. it is what it is. Liverpool, I can't deny the brilliance they've got. They're going to be right up there chasing us all the time. We'll see how it goes. You've got Van Dijk from the start of the season. They've got a settled team. They've got world-class players. They are absolutely going to be one of our rivals. And they've replaced Mane with Darwin Núñez. So that could be enough for them. It's a very settled squad, basically. And it could be interesting to see how they get on this season. Chelsea are an absolute mental team right now. They've obviously signed Koulibaly, Raheem Sterling as well. Who else have they signed? 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿, that young lad. They are constantly linked to 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. They're about to sign 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 by the looks of it. They're reportedly now after Frenkie de Jong. They're after everyone. I don't know how to judge Chelsea until they get all their signings in. They have lost a few players as well. Lukaku's gone, of course. Rudiger, Christensen. I think they're getting rid of Colwill as well. They've got about 10 billion left backs. I think Alonso might go. They've lost a few people, but ultimately Chelsea are such a random team that I've got no idea how they're going to do. Really, they could be brilliant, but they could also massively underachieve because they look a bit of a mess in pre-season. And I think they've got a really weird scenario. They do have to prove themselves again, The Abramovich era has ended. This Todd Bowley fella, let's see if he knows what he's doing. Right now, he looks a little bit punch drunk, if I'm being honest. He's just randomly thrashing around in the transfer market. We'll see how it goes for them. But they could drop behind, in my opinion, Spurs. Spurs now have got a very settled, system. Conte is a fantastic manager, a world-class manager, and he's made some relatively intelligent signings. Perisic is a really experienced, essentially he plays a wing-back for them, I reckon, on the left. Loads of experience. He's a multiple league winner, obviously, at Inter. He's done really well. They've signed young 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐻, who's a right-back. I don't think he's going to play much, because apparently he's not Conte's signing, but he's good. Bissouma is a really intelligent signing. He's a pure Conte signing, man. He's got the physicality, the energy. It'd be great. And likewise, Richarlison, a little bit of squad depth for them. They've already got a world-class forward line with Son, Kane, Kulusevski. Richarlison, it gives them depth, and he's a good signing, man. But I think Spurs could be a bit of a surprise. They are going to be a very, very tough team to beat because they've got a very tough manager and a bunch of players who I think are going to buy into it. They've lost a couple of people, but no one notable. Steven Bergwijn, but, they got 30 million for him, so they won't be too bothered. Arsenal are an interesting one. They've made some interesting signings, Gabriel Jesus, he's going to do really well there. I always thought he would do, by the way, if he went. He's just been waiting to get out of Aguero's shadow. Zinny is a really smart signing. He'll do him good. Fabio Vieira is meant to be a really good midfielder as well, like a bit of a Bernardo Silva kind of clone. They've gone for William Saliba back as well, finally. He looks like a cracking centre-back. They've got a really, really solid team now. They've got an awful lot of experience. They've only lost, really, Guendouzi, who's not really been involved for a while, and Bernd Leno, but they've got a good team. They looked really good in pre-season once again. Let's see how they get on. Arsenal could be a bit of a surprise this season. They brought in Premier League know-how, and that is going to, that's going to benefit him. I had a bit of a debate with Neville on the overlap about, they said they haven't got a leader, but I said you can't really underestimate the leadership of Zinchenko and Jesus, who are experienced players. Zini in particular, who does captain teams, and he did change the last game of the season for us with Gundogan off the bench. I think they're going to do better than people realise. United, no idea, man. They bought in, as it currently stands, Lisandro Martinez, who's meant to be pretty decent centre-back. Terrell Malacia is a left-back, I think. Christian Eriksen is a good signing, a smart signing. But, at the same time, they've got the Cristiano Ronaldo absolute... It's just a shower of shit, that. It's been an absolute mess, so let's see how that goes for them. I think it might be too much still for United. They'll probably improve, because I think Ten Hag's a good coach. He is. I can't deny that. He's a really good coach. Will they match the levels of the other teams and get a top four? I don't really know. But I think they might be a bit better. But at the same time, it could fall through for them. I think maybe they'll end up playing Martial if Ronaldo goes. I don't know. They've only really lost. They've lost a few players, actually. Like a lot. Henderson looks like he's going. He's gone, I think, to Forest, hasn't he? Pogba's gone. Matic is gone, Lingard's gone, Andres Pereira's finally left, Cavani's gone, Mata has gone as well. They've lost a lot of players there. Yeah, not that any of them are going to be missed, if I'm being honest, but they might be a little bit too light. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. In terms of the rest of the teams in the league, look, I don't really think any of them have got the chops to really challenge City for the title. West Ham are a good side and they brought some players in. Newcastle haven't really had the summer that they wanted, if we're being honest. Everton have bought a couple of little good players like Tarkowski and McNeil and so on. And we'll see how they all get on. This brings me out to my predictions. So, here are my Man City predictions. Top scorer, it's an easy one, Erling Haaland. Do I really need to explain it? He's going to score a ton of goals. I do think he'll end up scoring 1 goal a game. I really do believe that. Once he gets going, once he sees that first goal in a City shirt in the Premier League, he's going to absolutely feast. Play of the season, though, I think it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne again. It could be Haaland if he scores 40 goals or something stupid, but I think KDB will find his best form with Haaland there, and I think he's going to be absolutely wonderful. I think he's going to have a Premier League Player of the Year kind of campaign once again, and it could be so good that if City do really well, he could be pushing for the Ballon d'Or potentially. Honestly, it could be that good. Star signing, once again, it's got to be Haaland, man. It's got to be Haaland for obvious reasons. I think he's going to score a ton of goals, be excellent, and be up there for the Golden Boot as well. He's going to be excellent. Best youth player, I'm sort of cheating here, but Cole Palmer is still basically a youth player. So Cole Palmer is there for me as a youth player. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to come through. If not here, if you think I'm cheating, maybe give Wilson Esbrand a shout there potentially. But Cole Palmer is my youth player. I think he's going to have a breakout season. He's going to score some goals and prove that he's a really talented player and he could take over one day from Riyad Mahrez. Most improved is an interesting one because this is controversial, because he didn't play badly, but I put Phil Foden because I think Phil Foden was fine last season. He was a good player for us, but I think this season could be the one where he actually really shows just how good he is and finds that fun to his game again, that explosiveness and the dribbling and so on. When now he's freed from the shackles of a false nine role, this is what I put. I put Phil Foden, and I think he could do better than we realise. But he brings me to actual league predictions. Do you know what? People are going to look at me and think I'm being mad here with these predictions, but I think the concerns that we're currently feeling, look, it depends. If we sign the left back and our squad looks more, full, then all of a sudden, these predictions don't seem crazy. They seem realistic because we've got a settled squad again. But if we don't, they change. But I'm going to presume, you have to be nice to me here. I'm going to presume that we do get the players that we want. So if we do get a left back in, this is based off that. This is what I think the top 4 will be. I think we'll win the league again. I think Liverpool will come second. I think Spurs are going to tip Chelsea to third, and Chelsea will be fourth. I think Arsenal will run Chelsea close but won't have it. United will be down to sixth, I reckon. That's what I'm going for. I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong, but I do think this is what's going to happen. Fingers crossed. I am right. We'll see, won't we? Champions League, fuck it. I put win it, and why not, hey? We've been getting closer, and it could be a weird season where we have frustrations, but we end up doing it. Maybe we win the Champions League and not the Premier League, but I think we are going to have a massive drive to get there. I think we're going to have the edge with Haaland, and I think we're going to play big in the Premier League and the Champions League, and I think we could win it. This could be the year. Doesn't matter. It's just me, a random YouTuber, and I think everyone's going to say, you really think we're going to do the double here? I think, why not, man? I believe in the City side. I think we could do it. FA Cup, I put us going out in the quarters, unfortunately. And likewise, the Carabao, I think we're going out in the semis. I don't think we're going to win those two this year. I think we're going to go for the big two. And I think it's going to be really, really fun. Guys, they are my predictions. Maybe I'm talking absolute nonsense, but I do think this could be a really special year. And I think we've got far too bogged down in the negatives because I think we're thinking too much. I think we're thinking too much. Ultimately, we don't have to have the width out wide to be brilliant. We could be just too good once the players get up to form with the inverted wingers that it doesn't really matter. It could be that they find Haaland each time with the crosses to the back post or the passes in behind. We pick out his runs and he scores loads of goals. It might not matter that we have no pace out wide. It could be that we adapt the way we play if we get, if we get Sousa in, he could overlap Grealish, and it could be that Cancelo goes on the right and he could overlap an inverted Mahrez or Cole Palmer. It could be that it doesn't really matter. We'd be absolutely brilliant. I could be talking nonsense, but we'll have to see. But that is my season preview. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know all your predictions down in the comments below, of course. Thank you for watching it if you made this far. If you did make it this far, let me know down in the comments, of course. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel. Let's get me to 63k. And once again, Super 6. Go and enter my league in the description below. Give your Super 6 predictions, join my league, and see if you can beat me and see if you can win £1 million. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Blues. It's going to be a long season, but I can't wait to watch it with you guys.